Welcome back to Ramayana Reflections. We are continuing Balakanda, the Book of Beginnings, and we are still on Sarga 1, the first Sarga of Balakanda. So, the Balakanda starts with a question from Maharishi Valmiki to sage Narada, because Valmiki himself was a little bit confused about, is there an ideal human being in the world? So he thought that Rama was the ideal human being. In fact, he himself got elevated to a Maharishi status by chanting the name of Rama. Maharishi Valmiki was a contemporary of Bhagavan Rama. But certain actions of Rama put some confusions over the mind of Maharishi Valmiki. That is why he asked the question, is there any human being? I don't want to know somebody who lived in the past, or I don't want to know about somebody who is living in a terrestrial plane or out of the earth or in a mythical world. I wanted to know about a human being. Narada understood the reason for this question, and he knew there is a person in this universe who possesses all these qualities, and that is Rama. So with a smile, Narada said, yes, I know a person who possesses all these 16 characteristics you asked. To find these qualities, even one or two in a person is very rare. And why, meaning then what about all these 16 qualities? But yet there is a person who has all these qualities, and his name is Rama. And Narada enumerated 32 virtues of Rama. And after that, immediately he started enumerating that story or that life journey of Rama. So that's what we started last week. The first, in that 100 shlokas, meaning 80 shlokas, from 20th shloka to 100th shloka, that is known as the Moola Ramayana, because the whole Ramayana got expanded from that Moola Ramayana. And Narada presents it so nicely in a very summary way. That's why we thought we will spend 2 or 3 classes going through that Moola Ramayana, because it depicts all the major life event of Rama, all the milestones in Rama's journey. So we saw, meaning last week we started reviewing it, and actually we reviewed 5 points last week. One is King Dasharatha decided to make Rama as the king, future king. So, but what happened was, Kaikeyi, Dasharatha's wife, she was given a blank promise by Dasharatha, and she encashed that. And because of that, Rama had to go to forest for 14 years, and Bharata had to be made as the king. So we saw some life lessons, etc. And when Rama was about to leave the country, Sita and Lakshmana also accompanied Rama out of love. Sita out of the love for her husband, because Rama's and Sita's relationship was beautifully described by Narada. Sita was described as somebody who is the most dearest person of Rama. And they both used to live in a life which understanding the hitas of each other. One knows what exactly is the preference and what the other wants, and they always try to make both others, meaning others' need as the first. So out of love, Sita accompanied Rama, and out of the love for the husband. And you see the best relationship of husband and wife there. And then Lakshmana, another example, out of the love for his brother, he also accompanied. And that, because of that act, he became the joy of all his mother, because the mother gets maximum happiness when when her child does something really good. So we saw that brothers and exile, and Sita's choice also we saw. And then what happened? Rama and Sita and Lakshmana was taken to forest by Sumantra in a river, and he dropped, and all the people of Ayodhya and King Dasharatha tried to follow them. And Rama wanted the chariot to move fast, and the chariot reached the bank of Ganga. And at the bank of Ganga, Rama called his dearest friend Guha. Guha is a king of tribals, and he was considered as a greatest friend of Rama. He was considered like a brother of Rama because of his noble character, because of his dharma nishta. Guha was considered as a noble, one of the noblest person who is very closer to Rama. And Guha by himself helped Rama and Sita and Lakshmana to cross the river Ganga. And because of the advice from Bharadwaja Maharshi, they went and stayed in a place called Chitrakuta. Chitrakuta was a jungle at that point of time, and Rama and Sita and Lakshmana was so happy in that Chitrakuta. Even though they were living in a forest, they were very well accomplished, meaning very well lived well with the people who were the tribal people living there. And Rama was very happy, and their happiness was described like gandharva sukha, the deep joy a divine person experiences. That is what it was described. So that's what the life event we saw in the last session. So now we are going to go to the next set of events in the life of Rama. But before that, let's first play the Dhyana Shloka of Rama so that we can, after that, we can get into the topic. So let's listen to the Dhyana Shloka of Rama.
Dhyayeda janubahum dhritasharadhanusham baddha padmasanastham pītam vasovasanam navakamaladalasparddhinetram prasannam vamangarudha sītāmukhakamalaमिलल्लोचनम् नीरदाभं नानालङ्कारदीप्तं दधतमुरुजटामण्डनं रामचन्द्रम्.
So let's continue with the life journey of Rama. When Rama, Lakshmana and Sita were living happily in Chitrakuta, the condition of his father, Dasharatha, was not that great. Ever since Rama left the palace, Dasharatha was deteriorating. His health was going down. He had a lot of guilt. He was extremely sad. And that sadness has taken, meaning the cost he has to given was his life. After Rama departed, after a few days, what happened was Dasharatha dies of grief, shoka, in Ayodhya, because of his deep pain in separating Rama. So the word Valmiki used is putra shokena samtapta, drowned in the pain of about his son. Dasharatha passed away. When Dasharatha passed away, the kingdom was empty. The Jeshtaputra and the Sheshtaputra was Rama, but Rama was no longer there. And according to the rule, Bharata, Rama's brother, had to be made as the king. So Bharata, when he came to know that this, because when this incident happened, Bharata was not there. He was with his uncle, Kaikeyi's brother, the king of Kekeya. So he came back to Ayodhya. When he came back, when he came to know that this is what happened, he was completely shattered. Everybody in the country, including the legal rights or whatever the king was given to his mother because of that, and also as instructed by, meaning all his teachers also instructed Bharata to become the king. But Bharata, the noble soul, he refused to take the kingdom, because he said, Rama lives. He is the Shreshta Putra. He is the Dharmajna. And Bharata thought that I am no way matched to Rama, and it is completely adharma on my part to take the kingdom. And he was so sad. He was genuinely sad. This is another beautiful example of the brother's love, and more than brother's love, you can see how a good person behaves and things. So Bharata's sacrifice is again so big. We already saw Rama's sacrifice, we saw Sita's sacrifice, we saw Lakshmana's sacrifice, and now we are seeing Bharata's sacrifice. A crown will not, meaning, fill, the crown cannot fill the void of dharma. This was the word of Bharata. So he decided to go to the forest and bring Rama back as king. So to bring Rama back as king, he carried his army, and they reached the bank of Ganga. And at that point of time, they had to meet Guha. Guha was initially skeptical. So when he came to know the purpose of Bharata, he was very happy. So Guha helped them to cross the Ganga. And from Guha, they came to know that Rama, Sita, and Lakshmana are living in Chitrakuta. So with the support of Guha, they all reached Chitrakuta. That is the next major event in the story of Ramayana. So let's continue. Now, when Bharata reached Chitrakuta, he actually pleaded, he cried to Rama, you are the king, Tomeva Raja. And he cites, you are the Shreshta Putra, you are the Shreshta Putra, and you are the Jeshta Putra, and you are Dharma. And because of your virtues, you would be the better king. Because if you are not taking the kingdom, you are not doing Dharma to the people of Ayodhya. Because when the Ayodhya could have ruled by Rama, and if I need to rule, that is not Dharma. So Bharata used logic, Bharata used emotions, and Bharata used all his love to bring Rama back to Ayodhya. But Rama was very firm in his determination. He said, it is not Dharma, because the king, more than his father, the king has ordered for him to go to forest. So it was Pitru Vachanena and it is Raja Vajanena. So because of that, I prefer to follow that Dharma rather than the kingship. In modern days, everybody wanted to get into that chair. Here, two people are fighting not to take the chair. That is what happens. So here, like, yes, Rama has a dharma for the people of Ayodhya. Bharata has a dharma for the people of Ayodhya. But when the Mukhya dharma and the Gauna dharma conflicts, you can see what Rama picks up. He picked up his dharma because, and again, we talked about this earlier. If Rama meaning after becoming the king, if this happened, Raja dharma would have been the Mukhya dharma. So this is what it is. So Rama refused to go back. This is a very beautiful scene. Later you see in the Aranyakanda of the Ramayana. Here Narada just briefly describes this scene. So let's continue. So the next thing is, when Rama said he is not going to come to Ayodhya, Bharata said, I am not going to become the king. If Rama is not going to come, he can serve the country as a servant of Rama, as the authority, a temporal authority, or a like a representative of Rama. Bharata said, I won't become the king. And he requested Rama for his padakas. Padakas means the slippers or his footwear. So he requested Rama to give that footwear to Bharata as a symbol of authority, because the footwear represents who Rama is. And then Bharata said, he is going back with a wish Every day he will be waiting for Rama. And he said, if you don't come exactly on the 14th year, I will kill myself. I will enter into the fire. So that much was the love and that much was the Dharmanishta of Bharata. So Ramapado Upasate, actually, he reverently touching Rama's sandals, Ramapadukau. So he took that, in fact, you will see this in Ayodhya Kanda. Beautifully, Rama, when Bharata gets this footwear, Paduka, he put that on his head. That much reverence and respect Bharata had. And so this particular incident, the Tyaga of Bharata, right? We already saw Tyaga of Rama, Tyaga of Lakshmana, Tyaga of Sita. But considering this great sacrifice Bharata had made, considering that great feeling of Bharata or the attitude of Bharata and the love for Rama, even Vatmiki himself was so much moved. And he praises Bharata later point of time by calling Rama Agraja, calling Rama as Bharatagraja. Imagine, Rama came to know by Bharata's name, Bharatagraja. That much was the sacrifice and love of Bharata for Rama. This is a beautiful incident in Ramayana. So please note that this act of Bharata made him very, very good model in front of everyone. And that is why Rama himself came to know that Bharatagraja. So later we are going to see this in detail, meaning we are going to discuss this in detail in the Aranyakanda. But this is a very big milestone in the life of Rama's journey. Let's continue. So the next point is that when Bharata departed, Rama knew that if he stays in Chitrakuta, it is not good, because everybody in Ayodhya came to know that Rama, Lakshmana and Sita lives in Chitrakuta. You know, the love of people of Ayodhya for Rama is boundless. Because of that, Rama expected more people will be coming to Chitrakuta to see him and Lakshmana and Sita frequently. So when more people come to the forest, that is going to disturb the ecology of the Chitrakuta. So it is going to affect the entire forest balance, like the animals, the water sources, and also the whole purpose of this yatra was a spiritual kind of a vanaprastha, and that purpose will be defeated. The sages in Chitrakuta, their spiritual practices will be obstructed by these visitors. And already a whole army came in, and that itself disturbed the eco-balance of Chitrakuta. And again, you can see in Ramayana, this is a very brief description of the Ramayana by Narada. But even there, you can see how much the ecology and caring for the nature and all that is described by meaning, or how much important that was. Like at the time of Ramayana, at least 5,000 years back. Mind you, the whole ecology started coming to the modern world only 150 years back. So we are talking about 5,000 years back. Somebody who is caring for river, somebody who is caring for the eco-diversity of the forest, that is highlighted. So Rama said, let's go deep into the forest. And he went into the deep forest known as Dandakaranya. Dandakaranya, modern day Nagpur side. The Chitrakuta was in, so imagine like he started from Ayodhya, which is in Uttar Pradesh. From there he came to Chitrakuta, which is in Madhya Pradesh. And from there he is getting into the Maharashtra region. So the Dandakaranya forest, very famous forest. So this forest, once upon a time, It was like a kingdom of a king called Danda. Danda was the king, and this was like a big city before becoming a forest. But because of his really arrogant behavior, because of that bad behavior, he was cursed by a sage, Shukracharya. You know Shukracharya. Shukracharya is the guru of these asuras. The guru of the asuras, Dandaka was an asura. He was ruling this place called Dandaka, and this asura was cursed by Shukracharya. So once upon a time, it was like a flourishing Janapada. Like all the people were living, it was a good city. And actually, what happened? Because of this curse, it was a place taken over by Rakshasas. The Rakshasas took over. And actually, what happened was because of all these acts, this city became a huge jungle, and that jungle was taken over by Rakshasas. Rakshasas means the people who are like disturbing the natural harmony of the universe. So that people took over, and the lawlessness was prevailing in the entire Dandakaranya, and the spiritual seekers were never allowed to do their spiritual practice, and the tribal people were not allowed to live a peaceful life, and they were destroying the nature, they were destroying the rivers, they were destroying the forest, and everything was lawlessness was there. This was the state of Dandakaranya when Rama was getting into Dandakaranya. So this Dandakaranya has a big significance in our Sanatana Dharma literature. So in Ramayana it comes, and later in all the Puranas, you could see all the Puranas starts with a conversation, including Mahabharata, starts with a conversation between one sage called Shaunaka and all the sages there talking to a person called Suta, and the Suta is giving them all the Puranas. And this conversation between Suta and Shaunaka happens in the Dandakaranya forest. So that Dandakaranya forest, Rama, Lakshmana, and Sita, deliberately they entered into this forest. Rama had different purpose also, because he wanted to make sure that this lawlessness of this particular jungle is cleared, and that jungle should be freed from all these external influence, and there should be laws, and the Vanacharas, the tribal people of that place, should be able to live there peacefully. The animals should be able to live peacefully. The sages should be able to do their practice. That meaning to re-establish dharma, re-establish the law. That is another reason why Rama entered into that place. But again, from Chitrakuta, they moved deep into the forest. That is the next major incident in their life. Let's continue. And when they entered into this Chitrakuta, how the Ramayana unfolds is so beautiful. Immediately they have to encounter with the first Rakshasa. And that first Rakshasa's name was Viradha. So this Viradha has a very fierce form. Like you will see that in the Aranyakanda of Ramayana when we go to that chapter. He came with a fiery look in his eyes, meaning in his back. Elephants, deers, and all these animals were killed and hanged on his shoulders. He had a big shula in his hand. So there is a backstory of this demon called Viradha. His original name was Tumburu. He was a celestial gandharva. And because of his arrogance, because of his really bad behavior, he was cursed by Kubera, the lord of wealth, to a Rakshasa. And he was a terror in the forest. He kidnapped sages. He disrupted the Dandakaranya's harmony. He killed all these Vanacharas. So that was like he was disturbing that whole Dandakaranya. So when Rama, Lakshmana, and Sita entered there, they first had to enter this person called Viradha. So Rama and Lakshmana fought with this Viradha. And you can see there is a lot of description about this battle, because both of them had to attack them together. And finally, meaning Rama and Lakshmana skillfully annihilates this demon Viradha. And after that, what happened? He got Shapa Moksha. Gandharva himself was freed and he left. He praises Rama and Lakshmana and frees. Liberated soul of Viradha thanked Rama before getting into the heaven. So that is also described. So this is the first battle in the forest. So Dharma triumphs. Even you are, meaning somebody is cursed, obviously there is always a chance to recover. And this is the story. And ecological balance, dharmic balance is the responsibility of Ishvara, and Rama did that. So this is what happened. So they got into the Dandakaranya, they had to face the first demon battle, Viradha, and Rama liberated Viradha. So let's continue. So after that incident, what happened? Rama met many sages, many Maharshis on his way. So the first one was Sharabhanga. Sharabhanga, what happened was, this particular sage again was a Gandharva or a Deva. He became a sage because of some punishment, and he was waiting for Rama for years after years. He was waiting for Rama, and once Rama came, he was waiting to, actually his end was almost reached. At that point of time, he requested, I want to see Rama, then only I want to go. So after seeing Rama, immediately he passes away. He transferred all his spiritual powers to Rama. So this is sage Maharishi Sharabhanga. And once he passed away, the celestial being who came down as Maharishi Sharabhanga, he also liberated. So that is the first meeting, first major sage he met. And then he met another, Rama, Lakshmana, Sita met another sage called Maharishi Sutikshna. So this Sudikshna was actually again waiting for years for Rama. The story behind the sage Sudishna is, Sudishna was a disciple of Maharishi Agastya. You all know Maharishi Agastya, who crossed the Vindhya and got into the southern part of India. And he is, meaning almost all these Tamil spiritual scriptures is written by Maharishi Agastya. So this Agastya was waiting for Rama, and this Sutishna was a student of Agastya. And Agastya, after teaching him, said, when Rama comes to Dandakaranya forest, take him to me. Take him to me. So then what happened? The sage Sharabhanga helped Rama to meet Maharishi Agastya. Agastya was one of the most revered sage at that point of time, one of the most learned sage at that point of time. And Agastya was waiting for Rama. And when Agastya came, it was a very strategic meeting. Agastya gifted Rama with a lot of weapons and one bow. It is known as Aindram. Aindram means it was a Dhanush or a bow used by Indra himself. Agastya gifted another sword, and he gifted arrows and the cure, which stores the arrows. So a lot of divyastras were given to Rama by Agastya. Maharishi Agastya has given a lot of divyastras, and you will see that these divyastras and these bow was very much instrumental when Rama was fighting with that big battle with Ravana. So this was a very strategic meeting, and Maharishi Agastya was waiting for Rama to give this weapons and tools for preparing him for that, the greatest battle of at that particular point of time. And then Agastya instructed his brother, who is also a Maharshi, to take Rama, Sita, and Lakshmana to a place called Panchavadi. Panchavadi. And that is a beautiful place. And he asked Rama and Lakshmana and Sita to stay there in Panchavadi. So because of Agastya's instruction, Rama, Lakshmana, and Sita went ahead and put a Parnashala and stayed in Panchavadi. And they were very happy in that, meaning there also in that life. So initially they were in Chitrakuda From Chitrakuda, they came to Dandakaranya, and within Dandakaranya, they started living in Panchavadi. And before they reaching Panchavadi, he annihilated the demon called Viradha, and he met various sages. So see, it's a very, very, very systematic way of moving. And if you, at that time, I will put this in a chart and give it to you. This is the journey of Rama. So now what happened was, when Rama, Sita and Lakshmana was in Panchavadi, once a delegation of lot of sages and Vanacharas, tribal people, came to see Rama, Lakshmana and Sita. They came there with a delegation. And these sages were described as Agni Kalpana, meaning like sacred fire. Each of these sages were really good because of their tapasya. And they came there to seek Rama's help because they wanted to get saved from Asuras and Rakshasas. These demonic forces were disrupting the normal life of Dandakaranya, as I explained earlier. The sages cannot do their spiritual practice, and the forest ecologists, the Vana Dharma of the Vanacharas, that is their land. They were not allowed to live in that land, and so much of destruction happened. And there was a historic appeal: save us, please save us from this lawless land. These Rakshasas are destroying this place. And there was a Rakshasa called Khara, Dushna, and Trishiras. These people, with their 14,000 Rakshasas, they were destroying that ecology of the forest. And Rama promised them, it is my responsibility to bring law back to this Dandakaranya. And he said, I will annihilate all these Rakshasas and protect this place. And that is my dharma. So the sage's plea and Rama's promise is the next episode, described by Narada to Valmiki. So the next one was, so at that time, what happened? When Rama, Sita and Lakshmana was living in Panchavadi, a demoness called Shurpanakha. Shurpanakha means like it's winnowing basket. Like you use that in India, right? It is very common in India. Her nails are like that. That is what it is. Symbolically, it means one who scatters. I mean, like her thoughts are always scattered, and like one who act upon the impulses. That is the character of Shurpanakha. She was very powerful. She was like, she could take any form, and she was living in Janasthana, like Dandakaranya's western region. That is where she was living. And she happened to see Rama and Lakshmana, and she was completely addicted by the beauty of Rama. So at that time is the famous thing happened. Lakshmana had to do the Angacheda of Shurpanakha. And this is one of the most misunderstood portion of the Ramayana. People without understanding will blame Lakshmana, what he has done. So there is a lot of things you need to understand. Before that, one is the Shurpanakha is a very fierce demoness. She had the capacity to take any forms according to her wish. She was the sister of Ravana, but she was independently living. Meaning he was living separated there. There is a reason, because Shurpanakha married to a particular person, and Ravana was not very happy with that, and Ravana didn't like. So Ravana took a battle with this Shurpanakha's husband and killed him. And Ravana was about to kill this Shurpanakha also. At that time, Mandodari, Vibhishana and Kumbhakarna stopped Ravana doing that. So that is why Shurpanakha was not living with Ravana. He was living with his cousins Khara, Dushna and Trishiras in Dandakaranya. So when Shurpanaka went and appealed Rama, could you live with me? Rama said no. And then he asked, he said, like, you go and ask Lakshmana. Lakshmana said, I cannot because I'm a servant of Rama. And he came back to Rama again. And then she realized that it is because of Sita, this is not happening. So what happened? She changed the form to a very fierce form and tried to kill Sita. So that is Sitayam Hatva Raghavam Bhajanyam. So after killing Sita, I will get Rama. So she was charging to Sita with an intent to kill her. That is the time that reflex reaction came from Lakshmana. He used his sword and cut, and because of that, the Angacheda happened. So a lot of times people think that Shurpanaka didn't do any mistake. So please understand that the deformation or the Angacheda was not happen, not because she was a Rakshasi. That is point number one. This is what the arguments a lot of people tells. That is why I'm like specifically taking each one of them. Not because she was seeking a companionship. She has all the right to ask, and Rama has all the right to say no also. Not because like it was not an unprovoked attack. People say that without reading Ramayana. So before criticizing, people should read what is written in Ramayana. That is all the appeal is. So what happened was this incident happened because she was trying to charge onto Sita with an intention to kill. And you have the right to protect yourself. And that is what Lakshmana did. So this is what the truth about Shurpanaka. So when this incident happened, what happened? Shurpanaka went to his brothers Khara, Doshana, and Trishiras. And she told this story of Shurpanaka to Khara and Dushana and Trishiras selectively. Selectively. Her version, she said, I was attacked without any cause by Rama, Lakshmana, and Sita. So these Rakshasas got very much angry when they heard this, and they came to kill Rama, Lakshmana, and Sita. And that time, Rama's promise actually he could keep because these people were destroying the entire Dandakaranya. So at that point of time, Rama told Lakshmana, to keep Sita away, I am going to fight with all these demons alone. And Rama single-handedly fought with all these demons, and that is the next topic. But before that, one more thing. This Shurpanaka Vilapam is the cry of Shurpanaka is very famous. So I'll come to that. But let's see what happened with Khara, Dushana, and Trishiras. So what happened? So the next is the battle against Khara, Doshana, and Trishiras. So Khara was the commander of the Janapata's force. Trishiras, he was a three-headed demon. And Dushana, another strong strategist. These three were the major demons there. And 14,000 Rakshasas followers. They all came and attacking Rama. And Rama alone, he fought with all these people with the Indra Dhanush, which was gifted by Ayodhya, called as Aindram. And he used all the celestial arrows and he demonstrated his skill like Ekena by alone, single-handedly. He was able to destroy all these demons. And when he destroyed all these demons, what happened? Naturally, the Dharma was re-established. Earlier, remember, the Vanacharas and Rishis were talking to Rama about the atrocities these asuras were doing. And because since they came and attacked Rama, Rama had a chance to destroy all of them. So annihilation of the entire Janasthana Asuric forces, and he protected sages and Vanacharas, the tribals there. And what happened? Shurpanaka's, at that time, what happened? Shurpanaka retreated to Lanka. So this is the time Shurpanaka went back to Lanka and started crying at his, meaning she started crying in front of his brother Ravana. And that is what is famously known as Shurpanaka Vilapam. Incidentally, just wanted to bring up one point here. There is a famous kavya in Sanskrit known as Shurpanaka Vilapam. Shurpanaka Vilapam. It is 100 it's a big poetical work. It is written by Melpathur Narayana Bhattavari. You might be knowing him. He is the one who composed the famous work called Narayaniyam. Narayaniyam is a summary of the entire Bhagavata. So the same Melpathur did a work on this Shurpanaka Vilapam. And it's so interesting how he composed this. This is the literal genius of the people at that point of time. Since this Shurpanaka's nose was cut, she could not pronounce these Anunasika Shabdam, right? Nga, like the sounds like Nga, Anunasikam, the sound, the nasal sounds. She cannot properly pronounce the nasal sounds. So in this big work of Melpathur, there is not a single Anunasika sound. He composed like that. You can go and read, anybody is interested. That's the literary genius of Melpathur. So that's just incidentally mentioned. But next week, the Ravana getting introduced. And Ravana talks to Maricha, and then the whole story unfolds. It goes into a different dimension. So please remember the places and the journey of Ramayana, because as a Ramayana student, it is very important to understand that. So today what we covered is around 9 points. First one is we talked about Dasharatha's heartbreaking incident of Dasharatha's final breath, Dasharatha's departure. He dies out of grief, longing for Rama. And then the brothers of light, Bharata's refusal of the crown, declares Rama as the king. And then Rama refused, and Bharata rules from the Nandigram. He didn't even go to Ayodhya. He went to a village, kept the Padukas there, and from there he worshipped the Padukas and ruled the country as a representative of Rama. That is the Bharata story. And then Rama deliberately moved back because he wanted to preserve the ecology or that balance of the place called Chitrakuta. And from Chitrakuta, he went into the deep forest called Dandakaranya. And in Dandakaranya, first he had to encounter with the demon called Viradha. And then he met several sages. He met the sage Sudishna, Sharabhanga, and Agastya. And Agastya's brother took them to Panchavati. At Panchavati, a delegation of sages and Vanacharas came to Rama to seek help in protecting from Rakshasas, and Rama promised them to protect them from Rakshasas. One day when they were living in the Panchavati, Shurpanaka came and she tried to attack Sita, and then she was made Angacheda by Lakshmana, and she went and complained to Kara, and Dushana and Trishiras. They came, and there was a big battle. Rama destroyed all the Asuras, and Shurpanaka went to Lanka to meet Ravana to complain about this. This is what we wanted to cover. Let's listen to the closing prayer, and then we can open up for any questions.
Shri Rama Rama Rameti Rame Rame Manorame Sahasranama Tatulyam Rama Nama Varanani Sahasranama Tatulyam Rama Nama Varanani.